Hey guys, John here, back with a new mini rambling review. This is Wanderstop. With me today is Jack. He's a crazy man because he wants food. Um, so Wanderstop is a game that was released in 2012. It's normally about 25 bucks, although I think I got it on sale for like 15. Um, and it's basically a game about burnout. And if there's, why are you so crazy? Okay, he'll be back. Um, and so it's kind of weird because when I generally start these, I do briefly make a recommendation at the beginning of the thing. Let's see if the audio works. No, thankfully I muted it. Okay, cool. Yeah, from the creator of the Stanley, well, some of the creators, Stanley Parable. It's not. It is, like I said, it's a game about burnout, so it is very serious at times, dark also, and if you have any kind of burnout or any sort of pressure in your brain, um, figuratively, not literally, then I would recommend this. But it's really difficult in general to recommend because games in general have to do something to the person emotionally, right? And with gameplay, that's a bit easier to recommend because you could say, "Oh, this was challenging." So if you like challenge, then there you go. This one is more, like I said, it's more serious. It's more about burnout. If you have any sort of, if you've ever experienced it, then like I say, I do recommend it. Um, but that does come with a caveat because it's woke. And so if you don't play, if you don't, I mean, if that's a deal breaker for you, then don't get it, right? Um, I do feel that the writing, especially all of the good parts, I feel like overcome the wokeness. They offset it enough to the point where I forgive it, right? Even though it's clearly there. Um, and the wokeness, especially, I would say. Let's talk about what it is for a second. Um, all the it's strong women, specifically strong black women. All the main, all the strongest people in the world. All the main important characters are black. Um, the your main character Alta, which sounds kind of like alter ego. She's black. Um, and she's trying to seek guidance because she's a fighter, but she's trying to seek guidance from, you know, Master Winters, who's the strongest fighter in the world, also a black woman. Uh, and in her quest to heal from burnout, sort of, uh, Alta meets Boro. Boro's the guy in charge of the tea shop. And you could be like, oh well, he's a white dude. A white dude helping a black woman heal? Well, no, because he was taught everything he knows by a black woman. And he tells you this right at the beginning. They're not blatantly in your face about it. He's like, oh, I learned everything from, you know, from so and so. Here's a book. You can read it. And then if you actually read the book, it shows a picture of the author. And then it even goes so far as to the only other fighter that you come across is appears to be a white man, but and I didn't notice this initially, but if you look really closely you could see mastectomy scars, so like they're, her breasts were removed. Is it going to go on to the next? No. Oh, okay. Strange. All right, whatever. Sure, let's play again. Thank you, Davey. Please don't talk. Uh, so yeah, there's a lot of wokeness in the game, but like I said, the writing and some of the good aspects of the game, I think, supersede that, they overcome it. And so I do recommend it if you have, any sort of burnout, or feel a lot of internal pressure or anything. Um, I can't believe it's already been 5 minutes and I basically haven't said anything about the game. Uh, so let's just kind of go over the basics, I guess, because I don't think the average person is going to enjoy this game. Um, it's almost, it requires an emotional connection, and it's not. It portrays itself as like a cozy tea making game, but it is not. And it really does need that emotional connection from you, the player, having experienced some of the things that Alta has in order, to actually gain anything from the game. At least that's my personal hypothesis, my opinion, whatever. But like I said, I really liked it a lot. So let's talk about the good things first. We'll just kind of go through it, I guess. Art style, if you look at it, it has this. I think of it as more like Torchlight, but you could say the art style looks more like Fortnite. It's sort of this style that's in everything these days, or at least that's how it seems to me. It is very, not generic, but almost. It's very generic adjacent. Still looks good. I like the pastel colors and the color scheme, and very much the design is pretty great as well. It has a very, it's almost like someone wanted to make uh, it in the style of Studio Ghibli, but without that style. I don't know if that makes sense. Like the tea machine specifically. Why is it not playing now? Anyway, whatever. The tea machine specifically looks like something out of a Studio Ghibli movie. It almost looks like a train engine that you're just, you brew all this water and brew all this tea just to have one little cup. Which is over the top. I love it, but it is a bit over the top. The It just showed Alta drinking tea. The game itself tries to get you to slow down and relax. The problem with the rambling style is I just go all over the place depending on where I want. So you're just gonna have to deal with that. Um, Alta drinking tea is one of those things that the game encourages you to do, to take some time, to slow down, just to breathe a little bit. The problem is that Alta, even though you could look at her as your avatar, as the player's representative within the game, and in that respect, you could potentially use her pain and suffering as a way to potentially heal yourself a little bit. That's not allowed. Alta is her own character. She is a strong black woman, and you are not allowed to share that with her. The moment you get some tea and you sit on a bench or whatever and relax, she will start telling you about her life. And it seems really weird because this is like a universe of swords and sorcery and magic. And yet she's talking about her dad switching jobs and going to the gym and meeting people at school and summer camp and stuff. It is very, it breaks the immersion. I don't think, I'm pretty sure she's not a self-insert, but all of her little stories and anecdotes are something that the writers possibly actually did. I couldn't find any positive confirmation of that, but that's how it seems. It's very like real world as opposed to fantastical world, which is kind of the point, I guess. You want to be in this fantastical world so that it's not quite so raw when you're looking at your own life. The Pluffins are super adorable, though. I'm drinking coffee, not tea. But so the design is great. The art direction not so good. Um, Writing fantastic. The writing is maybe the best, maybe the best part of the whole thing. The characters are pretty great, and I couldn't necessarily confirm this as well, but it almost seems like they are supposed to represent certain aspects of things. It's almost like someone opened up a book and they're like, this is this particular type of burnout. I'm going to make a character that embodies that. And this is a different type of burnout. I'm going to make a character that embodies that. And that is pretty interesting. And thankfully, they don't specifically tell you what that is. But other places in the game, they do. They almost overemphasize stuff. For whatever reason, I can't think of any particular examples, but at the moment, which is really frustrating because this is like the third or fourth time I've done this, and it feels worse than all of those other times. But this is the one also I'm going to go with, so whatever. Perfectionism. There you go. I'm learning to dismiss perfectionism or let go a little bit. Yeah, so it's like certain times it's very explicit, like over the top. You're like, yeah, I get it. And other times it's proper. The characters obviously represent something, but what? Couldn't tell you. Are we? Okay, whatever. Anyway, music, fantastic. Music is great. Yeah, I'm saying a lot in this as well. There's also really interesting moments where it doesn't force you to sit there and do nothing, even though you can. That's one of the things about it. It's a game about burnout, about perfectionism, about just breathing, letting go, that sort of thing. And they have all these chores. You don't have to do them. But I did find myself doing them. I found myself constantly running around looking for stuff, avoiding downtime, and just filling the game with whatever tasks I could. And at some point, I'm like, oh, I get it. I'm not supposed to be doing this. The game doesn't judge you one way or another for it. And it never really comes out and says, hey, stop doing that. But maybe you'll notice it. Maybe you won't. That's fine too. It's not. It is a very delicate game in that regard, in that it doesn't judge. The story is probably the worst thing about it, which sounds really weird. The problem is it is very, like I said, it's almost too explicit. But it doesn't make sense. I know what they were going for. It just doesn't work in my mind. And the way, without getting into spoilers, what the story tries to do is it basically says there's this thing where you look at yourself and you have to be like, hey, if I was giving a person advice based on what I'm going through, what would I tell them? Right? Because we're going through all this stuff and we're like, no, we can't relax. We got to keep going. We got to keep pushing. But if you were to look at someone else going through your own situation, you'd be like, holy shit, you're doing way too much. You need to slow down. You need to just take some time, just rest. So there's a difference between how you would treat someone else versus how you treat yourself. And that's what the story tries to do, but it doesn't quite work. It almost feels like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they ran out of time, but it feels like I don't know. It feels incomplete somehow. It doesn't feel like they were going for anything at the very beginning, but then at the end, all of a sudden, they're like, "All right, we need closure. Bam, there you go. There's closure." It's like, whoa, okay. I realize I'm not. I'm trying to avoid spoilers, and honestly, I could put it out there, but it's like it doesn't. I could summarize the whole plot in like a couple of sentences, and it's not. It's something you have to feel. It's not something that I can just. It's not like reading a book and you're like, oh, okay, that's the story. It's like, no, it is about the emotion and just kind of taking it in. Anything else? Like I said, I would recommend it if you have any sort of burnout or like, you know, what would you call it? Pathological drive, maybe some sort of monkey on your back that constantly forces you to move or keep moving or something. In that case, yeah. Everyone else, I would say skip it. Um, Story, I understand what they're going for. I don't think it worked properly. Characters fantastic, writing fantastic, art style. I'm gonna say no, but designs and stuff fantastic. Color palette obviously fantastic. Music wonderful. Um, I think I already said characters. Yeah, like I said, it's interesting. I That's basically it. I don't know how much I can really say about the game. I don't want to give it away, but even if I were to, there's not that much to spoil. It's something you just have to get in there and take in and just kind of, you know, you have to do what the game is recommending you to do in order to get the most out of it. You got to go in there and just kind of breathe and take it in and make tea, you know? Make coffee for yourself, drink it while you make tea and drink it in the game. You know what I mean? It's like it's neat. And that is all. This was a terrible review, but but that's life. That's how life is. Life is imperfect. Sometimes it's messy. You know, you can't always make things perfect and clean, and um, there are people that will spend you know hours on a 30-second TikTok video, and then me, I'm just like that's sort of my thing is I just reject all of that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do anything because f you, brain. You don't tell me what to do. You're not my dad. And then and then I'm like, all right, well, good enough, good enough. But yeah, that's like I said, it is woke, but I think there are some severe flaws. Um, but overall, yeah, I recommend it, but not to the average person. So there you go. That's my summary. That's your TLDR. That's your 30-second clip if you wanted to avoid the whole 20-minute video. I mean, but you're here at the end. So there you go. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Um, Questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, let me hear them. I do read all of them. I do try and respond to all of them as well. And I hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.